Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Tyler and I just do consistent content, all things related hockey and the NHL overall. And yes, the Dallas Stars defeated the Calgary Flames in such dominant fashion in this Game 5, only needing 5 games in this best of 7 series in doing so. So that is what I'll be discussing with you today. My thoughts on this series and what is next for these two teams going forward in both the Dallas Stars and the Calgary Flames. But are you new to the channel? If so, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you end up enjoying this kind of hockey content. Thank you all so much for everyone that's been following me and subscribed thus far. Now help us reach 1K, because once I get to 1K, I can start doing live streams, giving you commentary on things like playoff hockey, regular season hockey, things leading up to the draft itself, and above and beyond. So thank you all so much, guys. Make sure you hit those buttons if you do in fact enjoy this kind of hockey content. Without further ado, let's get right into this video. I just want to start off by apologizing to any and every Dallas Stars fan that sees this video. Going into this year's playoffs, I had as one of my bold predictions in a separate video I did where I honestly thought the Dallas Stars, along with the Washington Capitals, would lose in the first round of NHL playoffs. The Capitals did just that, but the Stars did the opposite. So I just want to give my sincere apology to all the Stars fans that see this. I was clearly wrong, and you guys unbelievably impressed me here, especially with that offense that was not evident during the season at all, but really took a big step in this first round of quarterfinals against, of course, the Calgary Flames. But getting right into it, this Game 5 between the two teams was really something amazing. The Calgary Flames, as we know, took a 3-0 lead in this Game 5, only to blow it and give up 7 straight goals by the Dallas Stars, with the likes of Miro Heiskanen, Joe Pavelski, and of course Denis Gurianov leading the way. Denis Gurianov, the rookie Russian winger, had, get ready for this, 4 goals in this game. But you already know that because you most likely watched it. Wow, was this game something. Antoine Godolphin stood on his head when they need him to. He had close to 40 saves in this game, and this defense and this offense really clicked on all cylinders, which has led the Stars into this second round of playoffs, sending the Calgary Flames home packing, even though they won't have to go too far because I know that they were playing in Edmonton for this series. But look, this was so impressive to me. This Dallas Stars team that was ranked 26th in the NHL in offense throughout the regular season came out guns a-blazing in this series. And yes, they were shut out in one game in this series, but besides that, they have really been up on the goal scoring sheet with some guys that weren't necessarily expected to be the main top dogs for them really stepping up, including the likes of Gurianov. The rookie winger had 20 points on the 20 goals on his rookie season this year, leading the way for the Dallas Stars. And he was a guy who I had actually in a video talking about 10 rookies that really you need to keep an eye out in this year's playoffs, and he was one of them because I expected him to really lead the way for the Stars in goal scoring, and that made me a little worrisome knowing that they would have to bank on a rookie because the goal scoring just isn't coming there from other guys in this lineup. But that was not the case in this series. Joe Pavelski, Captain America as many like to call him, as a long captain for, of course, the San Jose Sharks. First year with the Dallas Stars, really didn't do a whole lot during the season, only had 14 goals in just under 70 games, had 6 goals in the playoffs thus far, and had an amazing game here with 3 points. And then Miro Heiskanen just leading the way with 12 total points, had 3 goals in the series, but he was just elite. He's showing why he's one of the best young and upcoming defensemen in the NHL, easily top 10 defenseman in the NHL as to overall game. In my opinion, he is just truly remarkable. So do not sleep on this guy any longer if you are. And yes, I know that people love to debate between him and Dahlin. That's not what we're doing today. We are respecting Miro Heiskanen with how fantastic of a two-way defenseman he is. And same with the other guys on that defense, whether it's like of Esa Lindell, who eats so much time, not just 5-on-5, but on the penalty kill, and John Klingberg, who can still put up the points and is a very strong, big body, right-hand shot defenseman. But they have a lot of weapons on this team, and that offense really came through here. And Pavelski in total had 8 points in this year's playoffs, and then Gurianov had 7, and Klingberg tied with 7 as well. Now when you get to the Calgary Flames type of things, the Flames, as we all know, had a very strong, impressive qualifying round, knocking out the Winnipeg Jets. Yes, I know they were dealing with injuries, but regardless, the Flames came into this series looking strong in the beginning, having guys really step up, like Dylan Dubé has looked amazing, really surprised me, really coming into his own now. Sam Bennett has been looking fantastic, such an underrated player, might I add. And then the likes of Johnny Hockey and Sean Monahan really stepped up with some of the points. Monahan had 8 points in the playoffs. Johnny Hockey had 7, Sam Bennett had 8, and overall, this team was looking strong, but between the defense and the goaltending, that is ultimately what hurt them most. Cam Talbot stole them some games at times, and he looked very up in the air at times. This defense was a little suspect. And the Calgary Flames, going into this season, they originally were going to be more of an offensive dynamo like they were in years prior, led the way by their former head coach in Bill Peters. But once he was fired and all that happened, and then they brought in Jeff Ward, I should say, everything kind of changed. They went with more of a defensive mindset, which led the likes of guys like Johnny Hockey, especially, who's been their leader in the locker room and on the ice, really falling in his offensive production. Same with some other guys in this roster, and that was evident here. And yes, they did put up some more points. I'm proud of Johnny Hockey for really putting up more points. Would have expected maybe a little bit more in this kind of series, but look, this was just such a lopsided series in certain games. And this game, 7 straight goals by the Dallas Stars. There's only so much you can do here. Mark Giordano, the captain, who is so underrated, Norris winner, unfortunately has never went past the first round of NHL playoffs, and I'm not sure if he ever will at this point. So I'm sorry, Calgary Flames fans. I just want to give you my apology here. I really didn't expect you guys to have a deep playoff run, in all honesty. I know that having Tkachuk in the lineup definitely would have been a difference maker, because he was in the lineup for sure, but the fact that he was out, no one could really do anything about that, and you guys just couldn't pick up the pace against the Stars team that was really itching at getting to that second round of playoffs, having things that they really need to prove in the Stanley Cup playoffs for that matter. But the Flames, I thought they were going to lose in that qualifying round against the Winnipeg Jets, so seeing them overcome that obstacle, even with Scheifele and Laine being out, was impressive enough. So hats off to them. They still have a very promising future. They have some good-looking prospects, and having guys like Dylan Dubé step up. Milan Lucic looking really strong as well, looking like the Lucic of old. Things to look forward to going into next year, especially with a full camp with their head coach in Jeff Ward, if he does in fact stay their head coach. And if they make some other moves, I think that would help them a ton. But this is only the beginning for the Flames, trust me. There still is a window opportunity to try to make some moves and get some things done at the playoff level. But going back to the Dallas Stars, they were unbelievably impressive in this series, and seriously, hats off to so many guys. Jamie Benn looks more like the Jamie Benn of old. I've seen that evident with a lot of players going into this year's playoffs, where they really stepped up. Jonathan Toews, same situation for me. Had he kind of bounced back year and really stepped up in playoffs, even though they're out of it now. And I see a very similarity there with Jamie Benn. I think Benn has really looked strong at times, getting in the net, which is what he's accustomed to. The bigger body forward, really looking like his older self at times out there. And Tyler Seguin, who is really looking disappointing in my opinion, only 3 points thus far in playoffs. He needs to get going. Same thing with Radulov. That line needs to continue to click if they want to go anywhere. So I'm curious what the future holds for them. But look, Dallas Stars fans, you have to be happy. What an impressive series, so hats off to you. How hyped are you knowing you're going into the second round of playoffs, and who do you want to face in the second round of playoffs? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear it. Flames fans, I'm sorry, this is unfortunate, especially to my guy Paul at the for his YouTube channel. I don't give Tkachuk, big fan of his, good friend of his as well. I really feel bad for him, but look, there's still a window open for the Calgary Flames. I know that it hurts, but trust me, you guys will get farther going forward. But thank you all so much for watching. That is going to conclude this video. And I also want to throw out one tidbit, which was very interesting. This series, with two teams that were more depleted when it came to their offense, were some of the bottom feeder teams, if you will, in the NHL on offense this year, had one of the highest scoring, if not the highest scoring playoff round thus far in this year's playoffs, with the Dallas Stars scoring 21 goals and the Calgary Flames scoring 17 in this series. That was such a high scoring, high impact series, and wow, was it fun to watch. So let me know in the comments below, guys, all your thoughts regardless of who you're a fan of. I would love to hear it. Make sure you check out my previous videos regarding playoff eliminations and summaries. I have plenty right down here below. Thank you all again, guys. Hit like, subscribe if you like this kind of hockey content, and I'll be back very, very soon.